Hi, I'm Fate. We talk about Rent-A-Girlfriend stuff, and today we're reacting and semi-reviewing chapter 255 of Rent-A-Girlfriend. Without further ado, let's mosey. You know, I always wonder how they do this. How do they fucking get the high quality sometimes? As he opens his eyes, he finds himself in Mizuhara's house. Before him stood Mizuhara herself. The perfect morning. Or is it? Water heater holder. Kanojo Okarishimasu. Yamori-san convinced me, and anyways, it was really late, and if I took you to your parents' place while you were so drunk, it'd only worry them. What's wrong with his face? Chapter 255, The Girlfriend in the Move, Part 7, Miyajima Reiji. Cool. What the fuck am I doing? I couldn't fuck up more even if I tried. Do you feel better now? You were quite the handful yesterday. You were as lifeless as a statue. It took all we had to carry you here, and it seemed you'd cough up even water. Jesus. Someone had it rough. Someone had it fucking rough. Ugh, I ended up causing trouble for her again. You feel like you've aged 50 years the next day after you drink too much. You know? I once had a drinking night like that, and it was fucking awful. I ended up being a drunk idiot inviting others in my drunken stupor. Chizuru kind of invited herself though. It doesn't make you sad and ended up getting more drunk than anyone else. For once, she's taking notice of me. Oh, master, you're awake. Actor school. Oh, Yamori is here. I thought this was like something else. I don't know. I'm a failure as a man. The results of the investigation, an inevitable F. There's no going back from this. The perfect depiction of a failure of a man. Jeez. The dream, the day nightmare. Yeah, that dream, it'll come true. This is the end. This is the end for me. Yep, he's still in a nightmare. It's better if you puke it all out. Ooh, I smell something unpleasant. Here's the altar. What? So Chizuru's unpacking. Minnie's kind of here. Jeez. What's she looking at? Oh, is that the first dress she wore to meet him? Yo, call back city. Let me die. This is gonna become a meme panel. It's not like something good will come of living. I'll just get dumped and Mizuhara will start dating another man. You're having these negative thoughts because of... What the fuck is that? I gotta look that up now. When you drink alcohol, your body breaks it down into a chemical called blah 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 blah. Damages your DNA and prevents your body from repairing the damage. What the fuck? Editor's note. The word is acetaldehyde. I'm kind of stupid, because I kind of already know this and I kind of already don't. I never said I was smart, I just said I was here. Good thing I don't drink that much. Angel Sumi. Oh yeah, Sumi fans rejoice. Your character has come out of the fucking vacation. Let's call it a vacation, because Sumi's just been gone for fucking ever. I feel so bad for Sumi fans.
I guess I could come out of retirement.
But I think I said this in the last video. Sumi's arc kind of like ended. If you go back to like the last chapter, we kind of really saw Sumi. Her arc kind of like somewhat ended, so it kind of makes sense that Sumi isn't there. Man, yep, horrible dream. It'll just be draining to look on as that happens. I'm pathetic to be getting so drunk. You reap what you sow, as they say. It's never gonna happen. A second time, not in my lifetime. To have a girl like Mizuhara investigating her feelings for me. Here, glass of water. I'm sorry. I can't bear to face her like this. You're gonna have a double hangover at this rate. I won't tell you not to drink at all, but drinking like that is bad for your health. You'll end up causing everyone else to worry too. Sorry, again and again. She's tired of me, isn't she? Why is she here? Hey, so can you talk in that state of yours? This is it! The end! She's here to declare the result of her investigation. She's as prompt and direct as ever. But here, like this? I heard from Mini-chan that your room will be available only in a month, and that you can't stay at your parents because of this. Oh, yep. Is she gonna offer? Is she gonna offer? I'm also curious about that note. Makes me wonder what's up with that note. Maybe it'll be brought up. God, how much does she know? How pathetic of me. Is it gonna end here? Our story together? Is all of it gonna pop like a bubble? I can't ask her. I don't want to. I'll just head back now before I get rejected. I'm fine. When I searched a capsule hotel for 3,000 yen a night came up, and I'm sure Kibe and Curry will let me stay for two or three nights. It's just a month. I can manage somehow, and we have the compensation money too. So please don't worry, Mizuhara. Ouch. You should sleep a bit more. But I can't have you taking care of me for 2 days straight. Just 1 month. Huh? I'll lend you just this single room. The kitchen, toilets, or other places with running water aside will be living in separate spaces, and you'll have to clean it regularly too. Yomori-san will be living with us as well. She's there. There'll be a bunch of problems if it's just the two of us. I guess you'd call it home sharing? It's normal, isn't it? Mizuhara! Does that mean... Just wait a second. I'm telling you, I can't. I'm sorry, I found this. I found this while you were in the taxi on the way back. Yeah. Hey, we were right! We were right! I said it was the fucking money! I said it was money! That makes so much sense! Ugh, my bank account details from after I paid the tab. Oh my god, he paid. And he had okay. So for any of you who didn't know, he had roughly 40 to 50 bucks when they showed it in chapter 250, and he still paid for money. So he has like $1 or $2 left. The man's broke. The man's like diddly fucking broke. It's partly my fault, and if you can't hold on to the compensation for ordinary living expenses, it's a waste, isn't it? I'm not gonna force you if you don't want to. I'll get you some porridge if you want to eat. Yo, man. Chizuru's taking an active role in the fucking story! Mini-chan, you okay with that? Yeah? Oh, yeah. I'm fine with anything. You're the one doing me a favor. Master! Huh? What is this? Master! Hey, are you okay? Huh? Yomori-san, can you hit me? Oh God! Shoryuken! Ow! I'm happy for you! It wasn't a dream after all! Oh, my nose is bleeding! Oh, sorry. I was aiming for the jaw, but I slipped. Oh, I just have to uppercut me! And that's how I started living together with Mizuhara. Seems like you landed on the fucking jaw. You could have killed him. Next time, the first day. This is the dream rental life. The curtain rises on this long-awaited new chapter of their lives. So, how do I even begin to break this down? There's a lot to cover, I guess. So, they do something clever at the start of the chapter. They pan to like hot water and the towel. So she was helping him, she was cleaning him up. And so like everything in the room, it goes against what Kazuya is thinking, because you're seeing him like catastrophic thinking the entire time. Kazuya actively puts himself out there, and you see that in like flashbacks when he talks about relationships and stuff. And so when Kazuya actively puts himself out there and constantly gets rejected, and then he finally gets to Mami, and again, he loses that relationship in a month, by the way. I just realized that. He loses the relationship with Mami in a single month. That fucks him up. Cause now he's become kind of disillusioned on like relationships, which is ironic because Chizuru's disillusioned on relationships. But Kazuya keeps putting himself out there, and he keeps getting hurt. And so essentially Kazuya's kind of reached a breaking point where like he doesn't want to keep getting hurt. He's afraid of continuing to get hurt. And that's why it's calling back to the beginning of the series. Like it's a different mentality, it's not the same, but it is intentionally calling back to the beginning of the series. So Kazuya, who was very active during like Paradise during the movie arc, is now a very reactive character. Chizuru, in contrast, who was very reactive in those instances, is trying to become an active character. I said this last time in the last video, and you're seeing how Chizuru is going out of her way to talk to Kazuya because he's the one who's not talking. So she takes control of the situation. Every time he wants to react, she fucking stops him. And Minnie, in contrast, is just like, you're seeing Minnie's like real colors, where Minnie doesn't really have that much agency over this situation. Like, you are in Chizuru's house, she is in fucking control, you are in her territory. So at the start of the chapter, again, I mentioned this last time, he's in Sayuri's room. This is why it pans to the picture at the very end, because this is Chizuru starting a new family. I really want to get into the arc for Chizuru when they visit her home, because that arc is so fucking good and highlights pretty much all of the issues going on with Chizuru's character. Everything I said before I took like that 10-week break, that arc confirms everything I said there. Like literally every little fucking detail, it confirms everything I said there. But like yeah, you knew it was coming. You knew they were gonna room, but it's like where Kazuya ends up, for example, like Kazuya ends up in Sayuri's room. Sayuri's the most important person to Chizuru, so Kazuya being there, like it makes a lot of sense. Like that shit should start clicking. And this is interesting because if you go back to chapter 250, you're seeing how Grandma Nagami is being kind of like a mom, but she's kind of like a mom telling him to get the fuck out. It makes Kazuya feel like he doesn't belong. In contrast here, this is extremely different. This is like everything in tone about this contrasts that scene, because Chizuru is just like, she's treating him like he's already belongs here. She's not kicking him out. She's not judging him. She's just like, oh, God, you gotta take care of yourself. It already feels like they're living together. You're kind of already getting a taste of it, which is great, because that's good foreshadowing in a sense, where he kind of gives you a feel for what it's gonna be like. It's like when you play a video game for the first time and like the intro parts of the game aren't particularly difficult, but they're giving you a taste for what the rest of the game is gonna be like. They're slowly easing you into it. Also, I just noticed Minnie is wearing Chizuru's shirt. Minnie is already at home. Just that little subtle detail tells you like Minnie's already at home. She's eased herself in. She's all good. Now, I also find something really clever here. Reiji introduced a month length, which is huge, because I think what this is gonna do is within that month time span, I think they're gonna get together, but a lot of stuff is gonna happen in between to slowly build to them getting together. So now Reiji just kind of gave us like an idea of where this is gonna end up, where this is gonna go. 1 month. That like in story time, of course. We don't know how long it's gonna take like outside of story, but he pretty much said 1 month. I also don't think it's gonna be that long. So if anyone's getting some Paradise flashbacks with first day or anything like that, it's okay. I don't think you need to do them so hard. Reiji has made it very clear in these arcs and how they're playing out is he's going with a much faster tempo. If you've noticed, like we've literally been flying through months and days. It's going really, really fast. We're not like sitting through the entire thing. The reason Paradise was as long as it was specifically due to the fact that these characters were confined into a situation that removed their sense of agency. That was kind of the point. So in this situation, that's not really the same. Like they're not really confined here. This is their new home. It's quite literally the opposite. This is actual paradise. So don't worry. I think it's going to go a lot faster and things are going to start changing much quicker. So it's going to be interesting to see how things play out. Another thing too is like we're in April right now in the story, meaning Chizuru's birthday's coming up. So Chizuru's birthday is going to be relevant somehow. And then to top it off, we have Minnie living with them now. Like Minnie is living within this space now. So not only are we going to get to see them interact and see this new dynamic kind of start up, Minnie and Chizuru are going to start like becoming more friendly. And then Kazuya and Chizuru's dynamic is going to start shifting because like they're living under the same house. And so this month time span is going to be huge for their characters because Chizuru has essentially willingly removed the wall. She tells them we're living in separate spaces, but she's removed the wall. So I can bet you right now we're going to have all the stupid fun shenanigans you could have with the living together, living in that small space kind of situation that you often see in anime. So like you're gonna see like someone walk in on someone in the bathroom. It's gonna be really funny. You're gonna get a chuckle, or you might play it up a little bit, be like, hey, look, ass and titties. You're gonna have them maybe hanging out outside of the stuff. You're gonna maybe have them doing stuff together, like laundry, cooking, dinner, all that stuff. Reiji is probably gonna have some sort of reference to the scene where Chizuru sits alone, where it zooms out. So there's a lot of stuff hinting at what's to come. And I think these few arcs are going to be really, really fun. It's going to be like kind of the opposite of what we had up until this point, where Reiji's gonna be like, okay, here, I'm gonna let you have all the fun now. Like this is kind of the point of this arc, is like we're slowly easing out of the depressing shit into the fun. And even when it's kind of depressing, it is fun. So a lot of what's happening right now, if any of you have been paying attention, it mirrors a lot of the early parts of the series, where Reiji would introduce aspects that are like kind of a little dark, a little bit depressing, but he would overlap them with fun and jokes. And then in the very end, you never end up with like a shitty result. You end up with a cute, fun result. I do think like Kazuya moving into Chizuru's house and then Ruka being a relevant factor, she's gonna show up soon. And so what Kazuya does with Ruka is important, because what do you do here? What exactly do you do with Ruka? that's going to be an important thing that's going to come up. I do think Ruka's extremely relevant at this point because, again, Kazuya's living with Chizuru now and you have all that stuff happening. So, yeah. So, this scene, we see her, like, looking at her clothes and, you know, at first I was like, what the fuck am I looking at? And then she does the flashback. And you realize, oh, this is the jacket she wore back then. You can tell like a lot of it is like the early clothes she ever wore, and it's almost like she's unpacking and she's reminiscing. And this kind of reminds me of when they first came back from Paradise, where Kazuya was unpacking. You're seeing how Chizuru is kind of like unpacking her feelings and her emotions, quite literally. And you see like this is the first thing we ever see her wear after, like this is from the second date. Then you see her phone, like this is how she contacts Kazuya through the rental and stuff. And the room zooms out to center onto Chizuru. A lot of times the zoom outs that Reiji has been doing have been centering around like other aspects. In this case, it's centering around Chizuru specifically. Also, I recognize something pretty interesting, which is that it calls back to the beginning of the series, which is that you're Kazuya-kun, right? Like the very beginning. But then if you remember, the whole thing that was going on at the time was that it was 1 hour every Wednesday, because that's when Grandma Negami was in the hospital. Now it's 1 month for free. No money, nothing. Again, flip the script all on its head. I made the deal. I started it, I initiated, just like she initiated back then. And here she tells him all the rules, she tells him exactly what she wants. So it's a direct callback to that scene about a dream for Grandma Negami, which is the dream of Kazuya having a relationship. Back then, during even that chapter, it even references Chizuru's family unit, which is like Chizuru feeling lonely because she doesn't have a family and she sees Kazuya with his family. And this is something I noticed the anime kind of cut out a little bit. And this is something I don't like. This is something I will be addressing in that video I mentioned, because I actually think while the anime is good, in many instances, it's kind of a different story. Kazuya doesn't want to show himself to her. This is again similar to the drinking thing, where Kazuya just did not want to be seen by her. He didn't want her to look at him. Another thing too, you'll notice here, Chizuru, I noticed this like when I was reading it, her tone is a little bit different. Before, she was kind of bossy and she was kind of telling him, don't drink, like no more drinking for you or none of that. But here she's like, I won't tell you not to drink at all. Like she's like, if you want to drink, do what you gotta do. She's letting him have control over his own life. Like she's telling him like, you can do what you want, but dude, like you gotta take care of yourself. And she's essentially telling him like I worry about you, like don't do this. I also noticed that Chizuru is sitting in her traditional stance. I've mentioned this before, the fetal position, where in this kind of this arc, a lot of it has been Chizuru kind of sitting in the fetal position, where in the fetal position that's kind of where like you're most comfortable. You know, you're protecting yourself, you're kind of shielding yourself. She's been sitting in that position this entire time and she finally breaks out of it and she takes control of the situation. So basically how a story structure works is you have like the starting point, and then you have like the rising action, then you have the midpoint, and then you have the climax. The midpoint is when things just change. It's when you completely flip the script and you're like, okay, now we're gonna do something differently. We're gonna flip the dynamics. This is the midpoint. This is the midpoint of the situation that they're currently in, where we've had the rising action for a little bit now, where like they've lost their home, and you would think that's the midpoint. This is the midpoint, because Chizuru willingly breaks out of her fetal position. She takes control of the situation. She's like, no, we're doing this my way. And when it zooms out like this, look at how different she is. Chizuru's like completely putting herself out there. Remove the armor. She literally got out of the position. She got like on her knees properly, and she's like, 1 month. And you instantly understand that just 3 fucking words and you get it. You know exactly what she means. She's the center of the piece, and you have Kazuya just kind of looking at her. And it's in Sayuri's room. Minnie showing up. So yeah, like you instantly understood, and then she proceeds to give him an explanation. And you know, again, they're kind of centered in the room again, and you're seeing like how the place already feels like home. The place already feels like home, and Chizuru is already treating him like he's part of her family. And so Minnie fucking shows up. He's like, wait, I'm a reactionary character again. So every time Kazuya tries to refute it, every time he tries to react, Chizuru takes control of the situation. She's like, no, I'm an active motherfucking character. And I love that because like it's shifting their dynamics. Their dynamic has changed. Chizuru took full control of the situation. Up until this point, they've both been reactionary and Minnie has mostly been the active character. Now Chizuru is straight up the active character. And then, you know, kind of tsundere. And I think this is like the most traditional tsundere out of Chizuru that we've seen. Because come on, this is so traditional tsundere. I'm not gonna force you if you don't want to. And she just like looks away and I'm like, bro. You know how many like pretty much like Shoryuken's Kazi at the very end of this, and Chizuru's just right here is like,
don't try it.
Shoryuken.
No, God!
And then Kazi is like, Mini-chan, you okay with that? And then Chizuru just keeps walking, like minding her own business. Like she's walking like a total boss, dude. Kazi's in shock. Kazi is gone. You know, Minnie's freaking out. She's being a dumbass. I love this face of Minnie here. It's really good. And then just straight up Shoryuken. And damn, dude, you can tell Minnie wanted to punch Kazuya. Like she says it's adrenaline, but let's be real. She was playing some fucking Street Fighter beforehand. She wanted to punch Kazuya. She was hype as fuck. And then I love how the very last panel is exactly what I said before. It's a huge callback to that big arc Chizuru had with her family when she went to her family home. And that is how I started living together with Mizuhara. And it shows like the family picture and it zooms in. You see Sayuri, Grandpa, and Chizuru. And it kind of fits. Kazuya is in Sayuri's room because he's the most important person to her, and then you have the grandpa right next to that because like Sayuri kind of sparked Chizuru's dream, and that Kazuya in this sense sparked Chizuru's love in a sense. So Kazuya is in Sayuri's room, and then you have like Minnie probably living in Grandpa's room because Minnie's kind of the grandpa of the group. But the reason Minnie can feel so hopeful is not just because she's just the biggest dumb fucking optimist I've ever fucking seen in a story, but because she recognizes that Chizuru's admitting to her faults and that Chizuru is actually trying to change. And that's pretty much what Chizuru's doing here. And so when Chizuru does this thing, this dumb tsundere thing, this is her real intention. This is her real intention. Like she wants him to stay because she's gonna use that month as effectively as humanely possible. She's gonna fucking do the shit. In this instance, Chizuru had the most control and she still does. And even Minnie points it out, it's like, in the end, it's your feelings that decide what happened here. So in Chizuru doing this, it's essentially telling us Chizuru is gonna be making the choices. And these choices will inevitably lead to them like getting closer and closer in this 1 month time span. So Minnie is just kind of like that initial starting point. It's like, yeah, the characters aren't doing the things we want them to do, at least not initially, even Kazuya. But at the same time, it's becoming extremely clear that Chizuru wants to take control of her life and rebuild her family, her connections. In this process, also find love. She kind of killed 2 birds with 1 stone. 3, if I'm being honest. She became an active character in this instance. Like, let's be real, she made this choice on her own. Like Minnie suggested it. Essentially, this kind of gave her like a mini excuse. It low-key gave her a mini excuse, but at the same time, it was a way to refute Kazuya, who would try to deny it. When she starts the conversation, listen to how it plays out. So when the conversation starts, Chizuru literally pushes Kazuya down and tells him, you're gonna stop now, and you're gonna listen to what I gotta say. And then when Kazuya tries to refute, she uses this as evidence. She doesn't start with this. Like use Minnie as a crutch or anything in this instance. She just says like oh yeah, I got some information, I want to talk. Like she initiates, she starts all of this on her own. That's kind of the difference between all those past scenarios. Is like Kazuya initiates, Minnie initiates, but in this instance she initiates. And you see hints of this in the last few chapters where Chizuru says, can I come? Chizuru says, hey, can I like hang out? Like, and that's why it kind of works for me. And I think Minnie in these upcoming arcs is gonna be fun, but I don't think she's gonna be the one facilitating everything. I think Chizuru's gonna facilitate most of the stuff that's happening, and slowly we're gonna see how Kazuya is gonna be starting to do that too over these few chapters moving forward. And I do think Ruka will end up being relevant again, but I don't think Ruka will do anything to disrupt this situation. I'm just curious how they deal with her. I'm curious how they deal with Ruka, because they're not going to give her an answer right now. I could also see like a reference to I don't know if any of you've seen this TikTok. Reishi made this TikTok a while back where Kazuya and Chizuru are clearly living together. And this was a long time ago. Like, this was pre-Paradise, I think. Chizuru and Kazuya were like living together, and Kazuya gets a call from Ruka who wants to hang out. And then Chizuru like overhears this, and she comes over and she hugs Kazuya and she's like, I've decided we're going on a date on Sunday. And I'm just like, that is the cutest shit ever. I need to see that happen in the manga. I need to see that happen. And they're just the same too. So it would be really interesting to see. But yeah. I'm getting off topic. I do think that maybe we'll get something like that, which would be really cute. Much of the choices Chizuru made here was all her own, to the point that even Minnie was shocked. Minnie is like, I have no control over this. This was all her, dude. And when she walks in, she's like, yo, what just fucking happened? What is this? What's going on? Are you okay? Like, she's like, Minnie's freaking the fuck out because this wasn't in her plan. Like, Minnie is so freaked out because Minnie didn't know about this. This came out of fuck nowhere. Minnie was just kind of hanging out, chilling out. Like, she was having fun here. And then she's just like, wait, this actually happened? Holy fuck. And then she's like, wait, I get a room too? Thanks, boss. Then she just locks the room. I love this. I think this is a great chapter, a great transition. There's a lot more to cover, of course. There's a lot more to get into, but I think a lot of people will definitely be happy about this arc, about what's going on, because we're definitely transitioning into like a different part of the story, and it's becoming a lot more fun, a lot more lighthearted, and I think it's only gonna get more fun and lighthearted. We're probably gonna see dates, we're probably gonna see all sorts of fun stuff, so expect a lot of fun shit to happen moving forward, and I'm kind of happy that we're back to this kind of fun, lighthearted tempo, because a lot of people were really upset before, and this is probably doing a great job of alleviating those worries, those fears, while sticking to the story Reishi wants to write. So yeah, I do think because of this, a lot of people will slowly start developing a new perspective onto the story, and they'll start looking at it a little bit differently, and how we might start appreciating arcs like Paradise because of this. Because I do think a lot of people like are really hurt because of Paradise, like not just because Paradise itself was like a very like controversial arc, but because of the big backlash the series got because of it, because of how much like the hatred and the stigma like got out of control. So I think this arc and what we're currently doing in the story now, how fun and silly it is, and mini Shoryuken Kazuya, like all of that stuff, like literally all of its callbacks to the beginning. Kazuya's low income in contrast to back then where he had the income and support of his family. In contrast now, he doesn't have his family's support or anything. He doesn't have income, and a part of the reason he lost so much money is because of Chizuru, and she recognizes that. You have the entire family unit aspect that was introduced. Now Chizuru's willingly creating the family unit. There's no money needing to be paid. Like we're forming a new relationship. It's a new midpoint. I get why a lot of people are skeptical. I understand, but a lot of the foreshadowing that's being done here, it seems very intentional and clever, and it seems to make a lot of sense because this is actually like a new midpoint. I don't think it's gonna like skyrocket because, you know, first day, like, you know, it's gonna go slow because first day it's gonna start a little bit slow, but then it's gonna build into it slowly. But I also think that, again, we're creating a new midpoint, and Chizuru taking this much action on her own is huge because she recognizes that she wants to, you know, be there for Kazuya in this relationship. Because in the very start of the story, she was there for Kazuya, she helped him out. But during the movie arc, Kazuya did a huge deal of the lifting, and even during Paradise, Kazuya also kind of did a huge deal of the lifting, and Chizuru couldn't really do much. And I feel like that gets to her. I feel like that kind of gets to Chizuru because she doesn't feel like she can do much for him. So in this instance, Chizuru's trying to be there for Kazuya. She even hints at it when she says, like, you'll make other people worry if you keep drinking like this. Where's the line? Right here. You'll make other people worry because you're drinking like this. This is her way of saying, like, I was worried about you. Like, it's the same thing Kazuya does. Have you guys noticed that? A lot of the things that Kazuya does, she does, where it's like, Kazuya, like, aren't you sad? And Kazuya thinks to himself, isn't this just me admitting I was sad? And then here, you'll end up causing everyone else to worry too. Isn't it just her way of admitting that she was worried? They're both fucking tsunderes. They're both fucking tsunderes. But yeah, that's kind of roughly it. Again, there's a huge deal of callbacks to the very start of the series, and it's gonna be fun moving forward. I really think it's gonna be fun moving forward, but I do think these chapters are doing a good job of kind of rebuilding that trust for a lot of the audience. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Subscribe, hit the like button, hit the bell icon. Trying to get to 1,000 subs, so you can monetize the channel and stuff. And yeah, that's everything I've had to say. I've been Fate. I'll see you guys next time. And remember, let's mosey. Or you could flip it all on its head. Kazuya is the grandpa, Chizuru is Sayuri, and Minnie is Mini Chizuru.